welcome to Ethical Hacking and Penetration Testing, brought to you by Eduonics. This is the last video of chapter 8, which is Metasploit. We've already covered basics and advanced. This is Metasploit's practical usage. So this is in reality how it all works. This is, as I've already discussed, Metasploit has many uses, and another one we'll discuss here is client-side exploits. To show the power of how MSF can be used in client-side exploits, we'll use some kind of stuff. So in the world of IT security, social engineering has become an increasingly used attack vector. Even though technologies are changing, one of the things that seems to stay the same is the lack of security with people. Due to that, social engineering has become a very hot topic in the world of IT security. In the first scenario, the attacker has been doing a lot of information gathering using tools such as Metasploit Framework, Maltego, and other tools to gather email addresses and information to launch social engineering client-side exploits to the victim. And then after a successful dumpster dive and scraping of emails from the web, you gain two key pieces of information. One, they use best computers for technical services, and two, the IT department has an email address of itdept@victim.com. So if we want to gain shell on the IT department's computers and run a keylogger to gain passwords, intel, or any other good tidbits of information, we can start off by loading up the MSF console. After we've loaded, we want to create a malicious PDF file. So as you can see at the top here, we're using exploit, Windows file format, Adobe utility print, and then set file name, best computers, upgrade, instructions.pdf. So to do that, it must appear legitimate. It must have a title that's realistic, as it does. We've learned what kind of computers to have. We're trying to imitate some kind of technical manual for them. And it also mustn't be flagged by any kind of security software. We're going to use the Adobe Reader util printf JavaScript function stack buffer overflow vulnerability. Adobe Reader is prone to stack-based buffer overflows because the application fails to perform adequate boundary checks on user-supplied data. An attacker can exploit this issue to execute arbitrary code with the privileges of the privilege of the user running the application, or crash the application, denying service to legitimate users. So as I said here, we create the necessary file. We set the payload as Windows Meterpreter Reverse TCP. We set the local host, we set the local port as 4455, and then you hit show options. So you've got the file name and the output path, which would be like pentest exploits, framework 3 data exploits, and then the file name, and then payload options. You've got exit function, which is exit technique, SEH thread and process. Localhost, yes, and local port is correct as well. And the target is Adobe Reader version 8.1.4, which is running Windows XP Service Pack 3. And then you hit exploit, which will create your malicious file. It will bind it to localhost. It'll bind the endpoint to localhost and the start point, and then after that, it'll create like some kind of service handler. And then you just have to put best computers upgrade instructions.pdf file, and then generate the output file of pentest exploit framework, blah blah blah, right the way through the best computers upgrade instructions.pdf, and then exploit completed, but no session created because we haven't actually sent it yet. So after that, we can see that your PDF file was created in the subdirectory where we are. So let's copy it into temp, so it's easier to locate later in our exploit. But before we send a malicious file to a victim, we need to set up a listener to capture reverse connections, which is the payload sending information back. So we use MSF console to set up a multi-handle listener here. As you can see, you've set up a reverse TCP multi-handle listener, local port, local IP address. If you're sitting behind your router, it will have to be set up as a port forward on there as well, and it started the reverse handler. Now before I said MSF CLI only supports one console. This is why you need two. So if you've set your payload, you need to set another one to listen out for it as well. And then after that, we want to send it to somebody. We just use send email, IP address, and the subject of important upgrade instructions, and then we attach the file and send it on. It can be done from command line. You can also just put it in your browser and send it that way. Either way though, they're going to get it. And as we can see here, no threat should be found. This was scanned the actual object itself and it couldn't find anything. So now the victim's machine, or our IT department's employee, is getting in for the day. He's logging in, he's going to check his computer, check his emails. He sees an important document, and he copies it onto his desktop as he always does, so he can scan it with his favourite antivirus program, even if he didn't, and he just copied it from if he didn't copy it at all and just opened it from his email client, it would still run. So it passed with flying colours, and the IT admin is willing to open the file quickly to implement these very important upgrades. Clicking on the file opens Adobe, but shows a grayed out window that never reveals the PDF. Instead, on the attacker's machine, what's revealed is we now have shell on their computer through a malicious PDF client-side exploit. Of course, what we would otherwise be doing at this point is to move the shell to a different process so that when they kill Adobe, you don't lose the shell, and then obtain the information, start the keylogger, and then you can continue exploiting. So here you can see what it's coming back with here. It's giving you this file, it's recording a keylogger, and then if you want to, you can just open up this key.82155.txt, and then it'll show you exactly what's in there. So it's a pretty simple way. Also, incidentally, I know it says here that's Windows Vista, but before it said Windows XP. A lot of these exploits will work in more than one operating system, so it's a good idea just to, if it says Vista, try an XP exploit, it might still work.